What is up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. Thank you, and welcome back to the channel as always. Appreciate all your support. I am coming right off of day one from the September Brawl Tournament. Hats off and many rounds of applause for Erlight for running all of that. And I wanted to feature a deck today that a lot of people were running, and I played against, and kind of just wanted to test for myself because I think I maybe discounted it a little bit more than I should. Um, but to say the least, things have been so exciting around DC Dual Force lately. I think this massive tournament is going to kind of set the stage for many different events, and I think it was a huge learning experience for so many people. Definitely a learning experience for myself in terms of like what prep I need, and if I don't have a full collection, how do I make the best of it? But you'll definitely see that content coming out soon, if not potentially even before this video. But as always, like, comment, subscribe. All of it really helps me out a lot. I've gotten some really, really lovely comments from people lately just about keep doing the videos or really like this point in the video or whatever else it was. The feedback really does help. Like, the positive is obviously always really fun. But even if it's like, hey, I would love to see more of this deck, or have you talk more about this, or focus more on this type of gameplay. And I think the content I'll have coming up for the September Brawl Tournament will really kind of give you a window into how I approach card games and gameplay and preparation, all of that. For those of you who have been a Magic grinder in the past, I wouldn't say I was a grinder, but I would say that I went to quite a lot of events. God, when I feel like I knew very little, and really tried to get some of those wins. But aside from that, I'm already reminiscing on old Magic days, which makes me feel very old at this point. So today we're playing some Christmas Time is Here. We got the green, we got the red, and this was a deck that I played against, and I don't have all the cards for it, and I'll talk about which cards I'm missing. So actually I should probably prep that now. But I would say I have sort of the core of it, because recently I opened 2 Chaselon, which is obviously one of the ways that this Lanterns in particular has a really, really crazy snowball. So for those of you who don't know what this card does, whenever you play a Lantern, generate a bronze. Now the important piece of this is that every Lantern card gives you the option to pay an additional bronze to get an additional effect. So essentially what Chaselon says is you can play potentially, 2 Lanterns in the same turn and pay for all their costs, right? So to give one idea, right, Simon comes in as a 4/1 for bronze. You would never run that because it would just get picked off by a million things. It would be terrible. But when you pay the bronze costs, he gets +4, and he gives a Lantern in your hand +4. So you're getting an on-board bonus, but you're also buffing the cards in your hand, right? So you're just getting a huge bang for your buck on every single Lantern that you play. Now, for those of you who don't know, let me actually just, hop over to leaders real quick. Hal puts a Lantern in your hand at the beginning of the game. So you already get, basically you get to draw an extra card at the start of your turn, which helps with the lack of card advantage, really, especially in might, but even in energy. Although you do have something that allows you to seek a Lantern, and this card is definitely essential to what you're doing, the Ring chooses. Seek a Lantern is obviously really important too, because it says choose one of 3 different cards, create it, put it into your hand. So this can fetch things outside of your deck, essentially, right? It just generates 3 different Lanterns that you can choose from. You pick one, it's getting +2/+2. There's also some synergy with Favor of the Gods, right? You draw a card, give a random recruit in your hand +2/+2 in guard. So as you can see, you're basically just getting these very buffed recruits to just play over and over again, and the Lanterns are just buffing each other and buffing each other, and it grows pretty out of control in certain matchups. So that's kind of the broad strokes of it, right? You need to have some card advantage in these colors, in this kind of, I would say, classically like a mid-range deck, although it can have very aggressive draws. Things that we're missing. We're missing Hal Jordan. I played against a list the other day. I'm pretty sure they run at least one Hal Jordan. This thing just is massive. And if you can give it aura, if you're lucky enough, off chip or any other way to sort of protect it from just being like destroyed by an unconditional removal spell. But this thing's so hard to deal with. I played a game that you'll see where they had a Hal Jordan that was like a 24/24, something crazy, right? So you can get this off of Seek the Ring, and I believe you can get it off of your leader passive as well, which just at the start of your turn create a Green Lantern. So there are going to be some games that we played today that maybe we'll actually get Hal Jordan in our deck, which is great. I'm trying to think. Aside from Hal, I'm sure there are other ones that I'm. Oh, right. I only have one John Stewart. I'm also not running Kyle. I'm still kind of on the fence about this card. I think the only reason Kyle would be good is if you can get Aura onto him with Chip. And that's not really reliable. So you're really just paying for a very mediocre silver card that's gonna die, right? They're gonna target it, they're gonna kill it. If you can buff it, sure, but I think at maximum you'd play maybe one. So let's talk about kind of how the core of the deck works, right? Let's look at the curve before we get into some games. So 19 bronze, still been very happy with this kind of curve. 14 silver, 5 gold. I think you could go 6, but I just, it feels so bad when you have a gold sitting in your hand at the beginning of the game. Obviously, majority recruits, and I'll talk about actually some switches that I made, but you've got Chip for early game, Antiope, Steve Trevor, Chase Alon, Clark for kind of a high roll attempt. I'm still on the fence about this card. Does it win games when it's, well, or does it make it very likely you're going to win games when it goes through? Yes. But it's so bad when you draw it in the late game. So I'm still like not sure if I love this card. A card that I do love and got recently is Flex Mantelo. This is just exactly what Might wants. I think in most Might decks that are paired with a non kind of card advantage color, and even if they are, I think Flex is almost perfect for that because works really well with Wonderwoman, right? She gives +1/+1, so you get to play him, buff him to a 3/4, which is like totally fine for a bronze, and create an action in your hand. And often what I will do is just play Flex on the turn that I can activate Wonderwoman, right? So that I get the value out of him. And then obviously like he can get buffed by other things too. And then you've got your kind of core Lantern package, Simon, Jessica, Chip at the top. And then Crypto, I think, I'm not sure that every list runs Crypto, but I just think when you have cards that have like huge bodies, shields are really scary, right? Because it just really prevents the idea that they can kind of gang up and kill something, or the fact that everything is kind of combat based because you're mostly running recruits. I think shield really, really helps you keep pushing through damage, right? And then our silver packages. Solstice, which I just love running her with stuff like, potentially John Stewart, Hammer Throw, Lightning Arc. I'll talk about some of those choices. If I had 2 John Stewart, I would be running him. Queen of Polta, obviously just really great. Has Aura itself, buffs everything. Kilowog, obviously one of the better ones too. Just gives everything, everywhere, +1/+1 for your lanterns. And then I was actually running different recruits, and then I jammed in Hammer Throw. I just have always felt that these kind of mid-range strategies are lacking some sort of removal or interaction. And although Hammer Throw is conditional, it's not really conditional in this deck, right? Because everything's getting buffed. It's very easy for your Hammer Throw to almost guaranteed do 5 damage, if not more so. And there are just some games where it's like, if you can just clear their blocker, you kill their leader, right? So I think it's been pretty good for me. Firestorm, this isn't really the deck for him, but I just think it can be really good against the Arkham strategies if you resolve this, and just take out 2 1 toughness, or 1 health cards. So I've just felt like it's done some decent work. Obviously, combos with Solstice as well. Lightning Arc, I think, is just one of the most efficient ways to answer cards. Obviously, you can go face if you needed to. But honestly, the 1 damage to adjacent enemies comes up more than you think, and really allows you to chip away at some of those strategies that are going more wide, you know, and just kind of filling the board with these small Arkham inmates, or I'm trying to think of what are some other go wide strategies. It's mostly tyranny. And then we've got our golds, which I think we're kind of playing the best of. And then a new card that I haven't played much. Shazam, you know, always good. Captain Atom, I've just loved more and more for the fact that you can give all of your cards aura. Like, this is another card that you could play alongside Kyle because it gives him some protection and then kind of punishes when you're trying to rip that protection off. Superman, obviously really hard to deal with. And Wonder Woman, I've just liked more and more playing over Truth and Justice, because it's a body with aura that pumps things, and I've just found that that's more impactful than it's a unit. It's basically doing a Truth and Justice impression, but I think in a way that for the format right now is better. And then Dual Force, honestly, wouldn't have given this a second look, but it does a ton for this deck in particular. Charging your leader twice really helps out Hal. And then obviously is going to auto-activate your Wonder Woman. And I've had it played against me, and honestly it looked pretty good. So I kind of wanted to try it out. So let's do that. Enough of me talking, as always. But I kind of wanted to explain the deck a little bit more, just because I haven't really tried this combination as much. It's the first time on the channel. And kind of wanted to give you a window into it. There are tons of mid-range Green Lantern decks. And I really have been kind of shying away from playing Wonder Woman. Honestly, this was the first deck in forever that I played Wonder Woman with. But I think it makes a ton of sense. And I think it's pretty fun. Okay. Hal Ivy. Well, we'll see who's got the better Green Lanterns. Okay, well, I think I'm going to keep John Stewart. Solstice I'll ship back for another bronze, but this feels like a pretty good start. Steve is also really nice to get Hal Jordan rolling. I've also seen Hal Aquaman. That's another deck that I want to try. But for now, I've been pretty happy playing this. So obviously we don't get the buff from Simon, and we got a Green Lantern Cadet, which I don't love. But we could just, I think, play Steve Trevor here to potentially make him more of a threat. And I could buff Wonder Woman, but I think I just want to get Hal rolling as soon as possible. So on turn 3, we'll be able to activate both. Yep. Let's see what there's to demos. Okay, well. Annoying, but definitely not the end of the world. Okay. Well, I'm really hoping that Simon can hit John. I mean, I could play around it. I could just play out Green Cadet to guarantee it, but it's a little too conservative, I think. Or a little too greedy, rather. Yes. And John got it. We got the RNG. Hell yeah. Alright, well, we'll just attack for 1. Obviously, like, keep it as a blocker. So we get a pretty big turn this next turn, so we'll see what they're able to kind of deploy, but we should be able to mop up most of it. And then I think we're probably looking at just slamming John. Could maybe just Crypto Hippolyta. Oh, Energy Blast. Okay. Well, that's a 2-for-1. I'll take that pretty much any day. Okay, yeah, this is probably I mean, I don't know what else is in their hand, but this is wise because now they're not really playing anything out to die. So now I got to think about this. I can really go aggressive. I want to take out Hal for sure. I think he's going to be more impactful. So the question is, how do I want to play this? I could go John Stewart in favor of the gods, or I could go... I think I want to play John Stewart and just kill this token. Actually, I could just go face and kill this with Wonder Woman. That's probably better. All right, so let's play John first, just to be more efficient.
May the gods grant us their favor.
Yeah, I think we can just go here. Actually, I could John Stewart and then crypto him. That's probably going to be a little bit better, actually. Let's just go face. Let's go crypto. John Stewart. Try and give him a little bit of protection. With the double shield, that kind of curves well into Hippolyta. Just trying to keep things alive so we can buff them. But obviously, if they just have Indoctrinate, I think is what it's called, then they could just get rid of John. But even if we just go Favor of the Gods into Hippolyta, that's fine for next turn. But I will say this deck definitely struggles into control. Like, you have to have a pretty explosive draw. Because they usually... Yep, there's the Indoctrinate. Unfortunately. It's a good card for them to have in their deck, too. But... Okay. Thankfully, they're kind of having pretty weak turns. Okay, well, double silver is pretty nice here. I'm going to keep Solstice back here. Try and protect her. And then let's just keep chipping away, as it were, at Hal. Well, hopefully we could draw another Lantern to buff our Green Lantern. Jessica would be nice. Just give it a bunch of power. Okay, well, seems like they had a pretty awkward draw. I actually felt like we were in not a good position if they were curving out appropriately. All right, Harley Joker. Oh, I always hate playing against Joker, but I actually feel like our deck has a decent matchup just because of how beefy our cards can get. We're not really running, you know, kind of low cost stuff. Jeez, still got the Kinet again. Come on, man. All right, so it's between Favor or Ring. I don't really want to play Manilow until I can get value. And I think I'd rather go Ring to be able to buff Cadet. So let's see what we got here. Oh, Gisela and Jessica. Hal will be good later, but I don't think we can take that now. I think with the hand we have, I think I'm just going to take Jessica. Just a more relevant recruit. Discard a card, give your recruits in your deck +2. Alright. It's going to be scary. Gonna be scary. Okay, so Flex we can't quite play yet. To me, I think this is just a Jessica turn, and if we spike on Green Lantern Cadet, awesome. Yeah, I think that's just going to be the gist of it. One player on this side. We did spike. Okay. They can clear it with Harley. So that is a question. But I think I would rather that than have to play around Joker later. So let's just do that. Because you can sequence, you know, playing recruits around leaders' abilities, but if they just hold this, and then I hold this, and then they get closer and closer to Joker, it's going to be pretty useless. And at least this way, they have to take some serious damage to stay in. Although I'd rather kill Joker first. This opens up Harley to being dead very, very quickly. So John could deal 5, 7. This is 12. Oh, and there's no way I can do that with John first. Okay. Question is, do I use Wonderwoman to buff Flex? But actually, the more I think I need to kill Clayface here with John Stewart. So I think that's going to be our play. And then I think I will just clear Mr. Freeze. And I could buff John here, but I think I'm going to lose out on some value if I don't use my combat. We've also got a big turn next turn. I can play, you know, flex. Okay, there's the jailbreak. Hope they don't... Okay. Well, it might hit on... Okay. It did not hit on Two-Face. Alright, this is gonna hurt. Okay. Not the worst. Okay. Well, let's get going. We could actually do quite a lot this turn, which is very good. And let's play flex first over here. See if we hit any relevant cards to be playing. Beautiful lighting. That is an interesting one, but I think we're just going to go with bodies on the board. So yeah, let's just go here, here, and then I think we just want to go Solstice. And TB doesn't do a ton because it gets cleared by Harley. So actually, I think let's just... But she has to take 3 to do that, and then we have 8, 9. Very close to lethal next turn. I think that's fine. Let's just play out the body. Gets the activation off. Has to use it here. Next turn we've got Superman, which should be pretty difficult for them to clear. Okay, well, glad Captain Cold came the turn after we used both of our combat-based leaders. I will say this card really hoses anything we're doing with that. Okay, if that's it, I think it's probably GG. They're just running a shoot randomly, huh? Well, I did get to clear flex. Not bad. But yeah, now I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. And then I think that will be more than enough. And I'll even buff Superman here to make it even harder to kill. I think we played pretty well around, like, kind of trying to space out Joker and stuff like that. Oh, jeez. Yeah. That'll do. Oh, Superman. Still just such a hard card to deal with. And we were pretty healthy there. I mean, it's pretty hard to beat. Alright, so that's our Hal Wonder Woman Christmas Time is Here deck. Hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely a different flavor from what we've been playing. I was really happy with the 3 decks that I picked for the tournament. Definitely some tweaks. I even got, I think, multiple cards I would have had in the deck after deck submissions closed when I got more packs from doing quests and stuff like that. But that's how it goes, you know. And honestly, I was really happy with how things went on day 1. Regardless. So, yeah, that's all I got for you today, folks. Thanks as always. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be having more of like a tournament report and some VOD reviews and stuff like that coming up. Yeah, I'll catch you next time. Thanks so much.